Alright, what's going on guys? Greg here to bring you a rushing gameplay with the MP7. Absolutely love this gun. I'll actually give you guys the class setup because this is my favorite version for pubs. It's pretty close to like the one they use in ranked play, but it's just got a different muzzle just so that way I can extend out my ranges a little bit more because this is pubs. I'm trying to get kill streaks, not necessarily just win one-on-ones up close and personal. So anyways, without further ado, let me go ahead and bring you guys that class setup and then we'll talk about this gameplay. So for my attachments, I have the Lacerta compensator, the FSS Sharkfin 90, 30 round mag, Schlager soldier grip, and demo RXT stock. And as you can see, there's no tuning at all on this build. I actually don't like the Vel-46 whenever it is tuned. Moving back to the gameplay here, I'm pushed up where I am on the map because this map tends to play like a traditional COD map, especially in Hardpoint. It's very side versus side, and this map is heavily one-sided, and what I mean by one-sided is that if you are on the side we are spawning and the enemy team is better than you, you're going to get spawn trapped and it is going to be terrible, okay? Now, if you're on this side where these enemies are spawning, on the other hand, you can spawn trap the enemies and it can be very hard for them to make a break, and that's more so in domination and Hardpoint because whenever you play Hardpoint, the spawns are constantly rotating based off of the hill. So we were spawning on this side of the map over here near, this is what's called maps, and behind it is P3. So the enemies were spawning at P2, which is the next hill, and we were spawning on P3. So we're behind the hardpoint on this side, or well, I guess in this case, we're in front of the hardpoint, and the enemies are behind it. So now as you guys can see, they own P2, which means they're probably going to be spawning where I'm pushing right now, which is going to be the back side of P2. But I'm not trying to cause a spawn flip because I want them to stay spawning here. So I'm going to instantly exit that spawn point and then try to run back in and just keep trying to pick up kills. And at the same time, I also do want to flush them off the point, which therefore I'm going to go ahead and hit up the point and try to hit it out back. And you can see right here, I got a nice little flank off, but unfortunately I was taken out. And I'm going to use my Juggernaut because these enemies seemed like they were playing the hill pretty heavily. Oh, some bad shots by me. I don't know what I was looking at right there. My bad. But yeah, so I have the Juggernaut here, just burgered out so hard. And I don't really run the Juggernaut all that often, but I was running it in this match because on Bagra, so recently I've been just running the gunship. I've been really bored of running the advanced, and on Bagra, the gunship is terrible. So I was thinking, like, what streaks can I actually run that are going to get me some kills? I mean, the VTOL jet is always good regardless. You don't really rely on it to get you a ton of kills, but you rely on it to apply pressure on the map, so that way people are afraid to go outside and they're playing a little bit more back, which causes, you know, map control to be held down, and then the enemies can get pinned into their spawn. But I was like, what could I use that is going to be decent and it can also help us, well, you know, gain control? And that's why I put on the Juggernaut for Bagra. And the Juggernaut is actually insane in 10v10 Bagra Fortress. So you guys can see right here, I am using the Juggernaut to play the hill. And that's because these guys on the other team were heavily playing the objective until I got in this Juggernaut suit. And I held down a couple points, and it seemed like they kind of gave up on playing the objective, and they just kind of realized, like, you know, like, let's just go for kills. So it kind of went like that, and then I get another Juggernaut in this gameplay, and I didn't even really have to touch the objective, because like I said, these guys really just kind of gave up, and they weren't really playing the objective all that much. Now, in this gameplay, I was also running score streaks, which I tend to use in ground war, and I tend to use kill streaks in 6v6, way more 10v10. But as of recent, I've been playing more objective oriented, just trying out running score streaks, and it's actually really powerful because you earn 125 points per kill whenever you're on an objective. And then on top of that, whenever you're capturing objectives, you're also earning score. So I wasn't even running like hardline in this gameplay, and I think I get my second set of streaks pretty quickly. Now, the first ones, I was playing away from the objective, and I was just kind of flushing out the enemy spawn, so it actually took me more kills to get my streaks than it should have. But if you aren't running score streaks, you can play away from the objective, you can kind of go on flanks more, all that kind of stuff, if you're running score streaks, make sure you are playing around the objectives and you are trying to actively take people off the objectives. You know, maybe if you want to try to get more kills and you're winning by a margin and you don't want to just end the game as quick, what you can do is you could just quickly hop the point whenever you know an enemy is going to be nearby, and then you can get some extra kills, so that way you're getting more score. But there's a lot more thought that goes into it whenever you're running score streaks. Now, one downside of score streaks that I don't like, and this is why I tend to use kill streaks more often, is you're guaranteed your kill streaks at a certain kill threshold, right? Whereas score streaks, it can be very inconsistent. Sometimes you might get them 3 kills early because you've been playing a lot of near the objective, you've been shooting maybe down counter UAVs, or, you know, whatever it is giving you extra score. And then other times, maybe the enemies aren't playing the objective at all. And maybe, you know, you can't play near the objectives because of where the enemies are playing, and then it's going to cost you more kills to get your kill streaks if you're running score streaks. So I don't like the inconsistency that it has whenever it comes to that. But if you are able to play near the objective, like you can see me right now, I'm sitting on the hill, not so much because I care so much to win, but more because I want to get that extra score for my kill streaks, right? So that's why I'm playing near it. Now, I still like to win. I'm not saying I don't like to, but I like my games to draw out more so I can maximize my kills. That's just how I have fun playing the game, right? I want to do both at the same time, get as many kills as possible while also winning the match. So, you know, score streaks, if your team isn't playing the objective that heavy, the enemies might be trying to or something, you know, score streaks are definitely going to do you better than if you were running kill streaks. But if you're in a game where maybe your team is dominating the objective or the enemies aren't going there, then kill streaks are better. But yeah, so I haven't really talked much about what's going on in the gameplay in the background because it's really just me rotating spawn points. You know, like you can see right here, right? I am playing based off of where they're going to be spawning, based off of where we are spawning and where the hardpoint is. And you guys can see right here that they're still spawning now at, I think it's P5. That area right outside maps, and there are going to be some spawn flips. All right, whenever there's an advanced UAV up, I noticed there's a lot of spawn flips that occur at once, and the main reason this can happen is your teammates are constantly moving around, rotating, trying to get kills off the advanced UAV, and whenever that happens, they're influencing where the enemies can constantly be spawning because they're constantly moving around, applying different pressure on different spawn points. So you have to be careful, and this is one thing, if your team is very rush heavy, it can be very hard to determine where the enemies are going to be spawning at because this game doesn't have as locked in of spawns as old Call of Duties did, where it very much was a side versus side. There is so much pressure that can be applied. Just even the slightest bit of pressure in modern Call of Duty games will cause a spawn flip, and it will cause the enemies to not spawn in the area where you might be thinking they should be coming from based off of where the majority of your teammates are, and it can be very confusing. So pay attention to the way your teammates are playing. If they are moving around a lot, then expect a lot of spawn flips. If they are kind of campy and they're not really moving around all that much, then it should be said that it's probably safe that it's going to be more of a side versus side traditional Call of Duty style match. So if you guys didn't know that, that's a little quick tip for you, and that's another way you can read how the match is going to flow. Now, again, you can see all of the teammates are pushed back, and this is what I like. I like seeing my teammates pushed back behind the area where the enemies are spawning, so that way I know the enemies aren't going to be spawning in my back. I just hate it whenever people spawn in my back because it feels like a cheesy death, right? Like, you couldn't do anything to prevent that from happening other than have an advanced UAV up or play in a coordinated stack that knows how to control the map. Anyways, I get my advanced UAV, and then teammate was actually on a 25. Now, I think this might have been the YouTuber Fortunate FL. I don't know, because I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this right, but is it Diano Biano? Or Dino Bino? I don't know how you pronounce his name. But he is I think he's a sniper in Carnage that uses like a recorder or something. I'm pretty sure he was in here as well. So, interesting stuff. I guess they got put on my team this game. I don't know if it was actually them. I mean, anybody can run anybody's name. There's actually other GFHutchinsons out there, apparently. I saw this while I was looking at the COD tracker, just like looking up old games, and apparently there's multiple accounts with my name too. So it's hard to even know if that's the actual person unless you have the actual digits in their name. But I end up dying off my nuke there. I don't really care all that much about dying off my nukes. I just chow things nowadays. I have enough nukes on this game. It just doesn't matter anymore. But as you guys can see right there, I'm calling in my next Juggernaut. The enemies, like I said, they pretty much gave up on the objective, and my teammates were also just, like I said, I had a good teammate on my team. He ended up dropping also 100 kills this game, so pretty nice, you know? It felt relaxing for once to see that on my team, and it allowed for me to get a nice, easy gameplay compared to having to go up against, you know, other... well, you know, them being on the opposite team, if you know what I'm saying. So, was pretty nice. And the second Juggernaut ended up going, it wasn't the greatest. I think the spawns were just kind of moving around too much. And, yeah, but anyways, that's a bit about this gameplay. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I think I go 107 to 8 or something like that, maybe 106 to 8. Overall, it was a pretty fun match. The Juggernaut, like I said, there's some maps I do like to run the Juggernaut on, but I still like using my gun more than the Juggernaut because I feel like I can still earn more streaks. Those streaks I'm earning are earning more kills. Whereas whenever I'm in the Juggernaut, I can't earn any other streaks. So I'm just kind of waiting here for, you know, people to come to me. And they can also see you on the radar, which means they could run away from you if they wanted to. Oh, another advanced UAV. Look at that. But yeah, so I don't know. The Juggernaut, in my opinion, it's a good streak and all. It's great for winning games. But actually running the Juggernaut and thinking you're going to do a lot of work with it is really dependent on the types of players you're playing against. Do they want to actually take you out, or are they just going to rat from you and hide from you and run all game? You know? So anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed. I will see you all in the next video. A nice 107 kills, 8 deaths. Almost 2 minutes on the hill, because like I said, these guys were pretty heavy on the OBJ in the beginning, but they ended up stopping later in the game. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.